Good evening. Good evening, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody come on in and let's get prepared. Let's prepare ourselves for another in-depth discussion this evening. Come on in, guys. Make yourself comfortable and let's get ready to talk. Talk about another topic, another subject that is concerning or something that needs to be discussed. This topic this week was a request by one of my viewers. And viewers, if there is a topic that you would like for me to discuss, for us to discuss, this is our discussion, then just let me know and we'll see if we can make it happen. So guys, come on in and let's get ready to talk. How has everyone's day been? I missed you guys so much last week. I hope everyone had a fantastic Mother's Day. I hope that you spent time with family, just loving on each other. Make sure you love on each other. We all need some love and some attention and some care. So love on your family. So I hope you all spent your week last Sunday just loving on one another, loving on your moms if your moms are still with you, loving on your siblings, your kids, your friends, your neighbors, your church members. I just hope everyone had a wonderful time last Sunday. And this Sunday, of course, is Pentecost Sunday. So you see I have my shirt on, which kind of represents the tongues of fire. And so, of course, Pentecost is Sunday is when we celebrate the arrival of the Holy Spirit on the scene. So I hope you guys had a wonderful time, and I hope you all had an opportunity to get out to church and to worship. Or if you weren't able to get out of church, I hope you had an opportunity to worship regardless. So we had a nice worship service this Sunday at church celebrating Holy Spirit and Holy Spirit's arrival on the scene, and it's indwelling in each and every one of us who has accepted Christ as our Savior. So that's my tongues of fire that I have on today. So guys, come on in and make yourself comfortable and let's get ourselves all ready for another edition of Let's Talk. Mr. Jackson, are you there? Let's see if we can get you in early today. So we'll try to go ahead and get you in, because we're just going to have a conversation today. I don't have any special guests with me today, so we're just going to talk. We're just going to have a conversation. So come on in, guys. Come on in and join in the conversation. I have missed you guys. I hope you all have missed me. And so we just got to catch up and conversate and share our ideas, our feelings, our thoughts with one another on tonight. So everybody just come on in, 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 come on in the room. Come on in the room. Good evening, Mr. Jackson. How are you doing? How are you doing, Mr. Jackson? And I want to ask you, are you on your computer or are you on your laptop? Because last week the week before last, I discovered, okay, you want to join. The week before last, there you go. We discovered with, see, it couldn't add you. We discovered with Mrs. Lynn that she couldn't join on her laptop, but she was able to join on her phone. So, are you trying to join on your laptop or on your phone? Because you're not showing up on my guests and it won't let me join you. And I don't want that. I want you to be on here with me tonight because we just need to be having a conversation tonight. So if you're on your laptop, try joining on your phone, Mr. Jackson, and let's see if we can get you in, because I need you in my conversation. I haven't had you in my conversation in a couple of weeks. Okay, you're intending to join on your phone. Okay, good. So hopefully we can get you in so that we can add you in, because I want you in my conversation. You came to Opelika this week and you didn't even stop by to see me. You know I'm mad about it, but anyway, I still love you. I still love you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Talk. Come on in, guys, and make yourself comfortable. Let's see. Let's talk. Let's talk about some things tonight. Oh my goodness, you had a tumultuous visit. Well, I'm sorry. You are forgiven, but I need you to join by your phone so you can be on the thing with me. And when you join, I need you to request to join. Anyway, it is 7:02, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started this evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk. I am your host, Juju, and I'm coming to you live this evening from Juju's Dollhouse, the house that Juju built. Each week here on Let's Talk, we will discuss current events and their impact on the Black community. We will also highlight local Black-owned businesses, local entrepreneurs, local artisans, local nonprofits, and upcoming events that will give small businesses an opportunity to showcase their products. Let's Talk is created to be a positive, uplifting, and informative discussion. All constructive opinions are welcome, as we must learn to listen to and consider the opinions of others, even if we do not necessarily agree with them. This isn't a place to tear down anyone, but to uplift and enlighten. Therefore, if your comments are not coming from a place of love and are not intended to uplift, we kindly ask that you please find another forum to express them. Please note that any opinion that I might give is strictly that, my opinion. This is not intended to be a news show, but we will try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that are knowingly untrue. It is my sincere hope that everyone feels comfortable and finds this a safe place where you can share your opinions. About your host, yes, I am simply a sinner. I'm saved, though by grace. Every good and perfect part of me comes from God. Therefore, I praise Him and give Him glory anytime I am given the opportunity. My motto is I am walking by faith. I'm inspiring hope and showing love all along the way. Let's Talk is produced by my dear brother and friend, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Jerry Jackson, who always have my back. I just love you, Mr. Jackson. All that being said, let's talk. Hello, Sister Tiffany Williams. Hello, Sister Tracy. I enjoyed my fish so much. They told me when I sent the other ones to get fish that you were all sold out. So that means that you all had a fabulous event on yesterday, a very successful one, and I am just so happy for you guys. Hello, my sweet, sweet big sister, Duchess Thomas, who also always have my back. I know if I can't depend on anybody else, there are 3 people in this world I can depend on to be 10 toes down with me, and that is Jerry Jackson, Duchess Joyce Thomas, Vincent, and Jane Althea Thomas. Those 3 are definitely gonna ride with me wherever I go, and I take them some places, y'all. So I just thank God for them, because like I said, they are definitely going to ride with me wherever I go. Okay. Anyway, so Mr. Jackson, were you able to connect with your phone? I still don't see you. But anyway, tonight's show does focus on the generational divide. What separates the baby boomers from the millennials? And what can we do to bridge that gap? Okay, Mr. Jackson, have you requested to join me? But anyway, so first of all, I want to ask, what generation are each of you that are on with me tonight? What generation are you? Are you one of the silent or lost generation? That means you were born between 1928 and 1945. Are you a part of the baby boomers, which means that you were born between 1946 and 1964? Hey, Avis, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. And Mr. Andrew Page, I hope he's on with us tonight. I haven't seen him appear yet, but hopefully he'll join in. Are you a member of Generation X? I'm a Generation X girl, born between 1965 and 1980. Or are you a millennial, born between 1981 and 1996? Are you Generation Z, 1997 to 2010? And I doubt very seriously we have any Generation Alphas on here. Those are 2011 to 2024, but hey, we may. And of course, if you are here, you are definitely welcome. We have Mr. Jackson and Duchess. Both of those are baby boomers, and Mr. Jackson said he's proud to be a baby boomer. That is awesome. Anybody else want to tell us what generation are you a part of? I wish I had some millennials on, because just recently, since COVID, the millennials have passed the baby boomers as being the largest generation of people. Tracy is a Generation X like myself, and I think Tracy, Avis is a baby boomer. Okay, so we got some baby boomers, we got some Generation X on here tonight, and I think us Generation X are the ones who kind of have to bridge the gap between the baby boomers and the millennials. But anyway, so like I said, I had one of my viewers requested that we do this show, and so I hope Mr. Page gets an opportunity to join us. Now, first of all, I want to know, how would each of you personally describe your generation? How would you describe your generation? Now, I am, Mr. James said, baby boomers rock. I am a Generation X and you know, they said that the Generation X, they said we are the slacker generation. And I'm trying to think about that, because I definitely do not consider myself a slacker. I think I am a go-getter. I think I'm a person who is hardworking, always have been. Of course, I am on the early side of the Generation X, but I don't know. I think there may be some slackers in all generations. We may be more laid back, and we did come in, especially as us as African Americans, we came in right on the cusp of all the changes in civil rights. We came in, when the civil rights legislations were being passed and the civil rights amendments were being made to the Constitution. And we still had to fight some battles, but we did not have to fight the battles that the baby boomers did. Duchess said that I am definitely not a slacker, plus you were raised with a house full of boomers. I was raised with a house full of boomers, but it was a couple of Gen Xers in there. But I just don't consider myself a slacker. I don't know about other Gen Xers. So what do you guys think? How do you personally describe your generation? They have all these stereotypical descriptions of baby boomers and Gen Xers and millennials. Hello, Brother Andrew Page. I am so glad that you joined me. Hello, Miss Bryn Askew. Baby boomers are loyal, consistent, hardworking, and mountain movers. Wait a minute, I'm the mountain mover here, Mr. Jackson. No, I'm just kidding. And baby boomers did have to fight a fight. Like I said, that we in Generation X, the baby boomers and the lost generation, especially among black people, they had to fight a fight in this country that the Gen Xers didn't necessarily have to fight. We came in on the tail end of that fight, so we may be a little spoiled in that regard, but I think we did. I don't consider myself a slacker. I'll just say that. What things are most important to you? What things do you prioritize? And I'm just trying to see, do you think there is a generational divide on the things that we prioritize? For me, faith, family, hard work, and making sure that I do things, whatever I do it with excellence. Those are the things that I prioritize. And that's just one Gen Xer. We got a lot of baby boomers out there. What do you baby boomers, what do you all prioritize? What's most important to you? And then, since I haven't seen any millennials yet. Hey, Luz, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, thank you so much. It's so great to have you with me tonight. So what kind of things do you guys prioritize? What's most important to you in your life? What's the most important things to you? And do you think that differs from generation to generation? Do you think our priorities change from generation to generation? What do you guys think? Mr. Page, you out there tonight? What do you think? What's your priority? Avis said faith, family, definitely, but also treating others with respect. Okay, so she prioritizes faith and family, definitely, and treating each other with respect. Mr. Jackson said, my priorities are faith, my family, myself, and work ethic. Okay, I'm glad you put yourself in that, because sometimes we do forget to make ourselves a priority. But I'm glad that you prioritize that. So faith and family and yourself. Do you guys feel like other generations have the same priorities as you? Or do you think our priorities have changed, or do you think priorities change from generation to generation? Duchess says that her priorities are faith, family, honesty, and hard work. Andrew says that he thinks that there's a lack of respect for elders. Do you think that is with what, like the millennials or Gen X's? I'm a Gen X. Do you think that, because I think, Andrew, you're a baby boomer, so do you think that the lack of respect for the elders, do you think that comes with with you think that is a priority that has changed over the years? Respect for one another, because Ava said something about respect as well. So wanted to know. So do you think that that is a change? Hard work, that's one of your priorities. Okay, so that's great. Mr. Jackson, I see you. Hello, hello,
Hello
hello. I'm
there.
so
Good
happy
evening.
to see
Good
you.
evening.
Um, so anyway, so let us think. Let's ask this question. I'm gonna. We were talking about what things that are important. So, Mr. Jackson, what do you think? Do you think that priorities have changed over the years?
That's a great question, Julia. As you know, we're mm, navigating life. Yes, priorities have changed because as a baby boomer, we are now taking care of our parents.
Mhm.
Um, that's a huge concern for people in my generation. All of us are trying to make sure that, oh my goodness, all of us are trying to make sure that our parents are cared for. The biggest the biggest concern is most of our parents are in their 80s, maybe
Mhm.
90s,
Mhm.
and so therefore requires a lot of attention. And because of their age, they did not have the qualities and opportunities such as a good retirement system and those types of things. And they don't have the necessary uh, things to help them to be successful in life. I've often thought that if it were not for us taking care of our parents and really taking the brunt for many of the things that we do, how would they be? So, as a baby boomer, we have major concerns on our plate, and that one is our parents. And of course,
Mhm.
um, I think politics has always been a big issue. As we grew up, we were right in the middle of all of the things that were changing, and we had to fight
Mhm.
and learn
Mhm.
how to be on the front line. So that's still a high priority, is to making sure that we are equitable when it comes to pay, when it comes to faith. You know, we as baby boomers are still steadfast and going to church, supporting
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
ministries,
Mhm.
doing what we're supposed to do because that's what we knew.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
in this day and age, because there are at least 6 generations, there's a plethora and a mixture of a lot of different attitudes, and
Mhm.
therefore it's almost like we're fighting amongst ourselves because
Mhm. Yeah.
nobody wants to listen to a baby boomer. They say we're old and we're
Yeah, and
outdated.
that was one of the things that we were talking about. I wanted to talk about there's a gulf. There's definitely a divide between us. Duchess was saying that she agreed with Andrew that younger generations do not have the same level of respect for their elders as we had. And Andrew said that our parents paid a price for a lot of things that that we enjoy today. And like you said, with the lost generation and with the baby boomers, they went through a lot of things that maybe us in the Gen X, such as myself, and then the millennials have not had to endure. So that creates a different mindset.
Well,
um they don't have to struggle like we had to struggle.
Julie,
And yes.
I'm sorry. And that's a major problem because the the generations behind, I want to say behind Generation X, doesn't understand the struggle and they don't know how to deal with issues and concerns. And that has become problematic in those particular generations. And I love the fact that Andrew says that certain generations don't have a level of respect for older people. And I don't think it's intentional. It's because we caused that. We gave these generationals, Gen Zs, millennials, and we gave them everything that we thought they should have because we didn't want them to endure the struggles that we have. And now it has come back to haunt us because the level of respect, the level of honor for even themselves and for authority is lost. And we're running around here scratching our heads trying to figure out what in the world happened. Well, we are a part of that. We caused it because that's why and it's not just with Generation Z or the millennial generations with the suicidal rate, but it's amongst a mixture of it all because we've sort of set that precedent for the generation divide. Because we were raised in a stringent environment. There were certain things that we wouldn't dare do, simple things like walking into the room where our adult parents and other adults were sitting. We knew that we were not welcome, and all our parents had to do was look at us. Well, today, the different generations, and specifically the millennials and Generation Zs, they just feel like they can just come on in and take the conversation. But there is
Mhm.
a huge divide, and I constantly blame us for that because we want our children and their children to not have to experience the things that we have experienced. But what we have to realize is we have to teach our children and those generations coping skills. What
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
do in this event
Yeah.
rather than throwing up your hands and do not have any type of negotiation skills? Everything is, I want to pick up a gun and shoot instantly.
Mhm.
I want everything
My
instantly.
way or no
No
way
way.
at all. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the same way with it's really the same way with job security. If they're not happy, we even see that in sports today with NIL. It has just, everything is so instant.
Yeah.
And I think
Instant gratification. So let me ask you this: how do you think technological advances have affected the various generations? Do you think the impact of technology, the advancement in technology? You got everybody has a cell phone. You got Everything is instant. Everything is really in the palm of your hand, just a click of a button. You can order your food. You can talk to anybody you want, and you can do it in a measure of anonymity. You can pay all your bills. You don't have to go outside. You can order groceries. You can buy your clothes. You can find a date. They have these what the metaverse where
Yeah,
you could just live a whole digital life, a made up life.
right.
So how do you think technology, the technological advances have impacted the various generations? What do you guys think? Do you think it has impacted us negatively or positively, or is it a wash? Some negative, some positive, which is usually most of the things. Hey, Contessa Payne, how are you doing? How are you doing, Miss Darlene Todd? We stopped talking to one another. We have stopped talking to one another, and a lot of that does have to do with technology. You can, like I said, you can create a whole world, and some people do a whole on the metaverse. You create your whole own life, and you're living in this virtual world with this 3D image, and nothing is real. Everything is a fantasy. So tell me, guys, what do you all think about technology? Has it impacted us negatively or positively? There's both positive and negative. I agree with you, Duchess. When it comes to socialization, though, do you think it has negatively impacted our society?
Julia, when it comes to socialization, we are in a negative. I constantly go purposely out to people watch, and I'll go to restaurants and I'll see how the digital divide and the technology has impacted our ability to communicate. Specifically, yesterday, a husband and wife, I sat right next to them at a table, and I was with my cousin, and I purposely put my phone away so that we could have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
She is um, she is a baby boomer, and so am I, but she's 10 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
However, we had a conversation, but me being as the person I am, I'm being nosy. So next to me, the husband and wife, okay, she was on her phone, he was on his phone, and he had his earbuds in his ear, and he was having a conversation. So the wife, they did not have a, I was trying to figure out when were they going to have a conversation about anything, their day to day, how was the day. None of that took place.
Mm-hmm.
So when they finished eating, he pulled his earbuds out. She put the phone in her purse. He got his bag, and they got up and walked out. And they walked silently to the car. I watched them all the
Mr.
way.
Gates,
Yeah.
first of all, you were too deep in those people's business.
Well, I did that because I knew I was coming on to the show and
Okay.
talking about, and it just dawned on me. I said, "This is so real." Um, I know some parents, like my niece, her and her husband and their son, when they eat at the table, they put their phones in the middle of the table in a bowl. And the first one that reaches to get their phone, they are punished. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
what the punishment is. I don't know if they have to give up something, but I think it's cute. But it forces them to have a conversation and talk about different things. I was speaking to a young lady who is in law, and she said that her son is probably in the 11th grade in high school, and she forces him because he goes to bed with the phone, wakes up with the phone, always on the iPad. But every day they have a time where they sit at the table and they talk about what's important to them,
Mm-hmm.
what transpired. So technology has taken on a whole different persona. There's some positive aspects and negative
Mhm. Mhm.
attributes. For me, I use social media as my therapy. I am
Mhm.
on my phone all the time. But that's a negative attribute because what's being fed into my mind, if I looked at everybody's life on social media, then I'm going to think, oh my God, I'm doing terribly because
Mhm.
everybody posts all of this great stuff about them, but they
Mhm.
never share the real vulnerable situations
Mhm.
that they have. So I see that Lucy says technology has to some degree crippled some boomers. Understanding the digital world is to some extent confusing to the older boomers. You are
Mhm.
absolutely correct. And
Absolutely
I
correct.
and I feel that all the time, even at the work. Avis says silos. Absolutely.
Yes,
Contessa says
yes,
both.
yes. That's what
Uh,
I was looking at Avis's comment, and she said access to technology is a two-edged sword. It has given us the ability to reach others, but it is also left us to live in silos, and has left us somewhat vulnerable and somewhat lonely, even though you have more access to more people. You can talk about to people all around the world, and you have this at the click of your finger, but still so many people have been left lonely because they don't have that interpersonal human to human contact. Hello, Miss Cassandra Clifton and Mr. Mitchell Giles. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, and then Latasha Lawrence Santarsha, excuse me, Santarsha,
Shantasha.
says that Shantarsha says that social media can be addictive, which is never good. And I was at a Parenting 911 conference just the other day, and the one of the social
Panelist.
workers was talking about that. One of the panelists was talking about how kids are addicted to these social media or to their technological devices, their cell phones, their games, their what are these little games they play, these little expensive games, handheld games and computers and tablets and stuff. And I'm like you, Mr. Jackson, or like your niece, when me and the twins, my god babies, whenever we are here together and we have dinner and we're at the table eating, they know no tablets, no put your tablets down, turn them off. Even if you're watching your little movie, turn them off. Talk to Juju, what's going on. Talk to each other. When we eat, we that is technology free zone. The kitchen table is a technology free zone. Um, so for everyone out there, do you consider yourself technologically savvy? And so I'm going to answer that question for me. And I'll tell you, I will preface this by saying I have a degree. I did graduate way back in 1992, but my degree is in applied mathematics, specializing in numerical analysis, and I have a minor in computer science. Do I consider myself technologically savvy? My sister Duchess tell me all the time, you got a degree in computer science and you can't work that phone. So it's just a lot. I get the kids all the time. How do you do this? Show me, wait a minute, show me how to do this on the phone. Show me. So I would not consider myself just overly technologically savvy. I can do general things, but when it comes to more advanced, and some of them not even advanced stuff, I can't do. I did just start paying all of my bills online because stamps are $13 a book. So Darlene Todd says my grandkids are addicted and it bothers me. They're not allowed to use them in my house. And I know a lot of people who don't allow, if they're keeping other people's kids or the kids are spending the weekend with them, grandkids, don't bring your tablets. Shantarsha said, side note about the twins, the girls told me last week that I need to come to her church. I want you to know she's out here evangelizing. That's right. That's right. Duchess out there evangelizing for St. Luke. Get us some members, baby. That's right.
So, Julia,
Yeah.
from let I love the question, technologically savvy. Um, I, I want to put a twist on it just for a moment. I don't want to derail, but when we're talking about technology, you think about where we are today. Since you just brought up Duchess, Shantasha said the Duchess wants her to come to church. I love that. Well, even in the church, are we technologically savvy? Are we doing what we need to be technologically savvy? And is it because of the generational divide or the lack thereof? And I want to pose that question to you. I want to interview the host. I want you to talk a little bit about your feelings when it comes to church or evangelizing via technology. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think evangelizing through technology is good, but it has limits. I think worshiping online and via Zoom and technology and getting the word, that's good, but it does not replace that gathering together of the saints. And if you all will think about COVID and when we could not go into the church and it was just a different feel. You could get a message, yeah, but it was not the same worship experience. So I think, you can spread the word of God and you can reach corners of the world that you could not reach. Physically, you can go all different places and evangelize to large numbers. But when it comes down to just having that fellowship and being a body, I think even having strong relationships, I think it's just hard to do that through technology.
Okay.
You need some human to human contact.
Okay. So I get that. So let's do a caveat here. Even let's go away from evangelism. What about inside the edifice, technology? Um, what are your thoughts about the use of technology or the lack thereof? Has that caused um, a problem in the church?
Well, well, okay, let's just talk about today. Today, like I said, I have on my tongues of fire today because it is Pentecost Sunday. Okay, so we had a no ordinary worship experience today. And technology enabled us to read the scripture about the Acts on the day when Pentecost was fully come, and we could have the sound of the mighty rushing wind going through the church while the scripture being read. We could have the tongues of fire being displayed. So it can add to the worship service, and I think sometimes it may detract from the worship service, but I think you can definitely use technology in the worship service to add to it. Let's see what we have on our comments. um
Contessa says, I have
She had to get her daughter to pay her bills online because she can't do it.
Right.
Um, uh, and Shantarsha says every church definitely needs a technological way to give in the offering. Yes, yes. Um, Luce says that she is 73 and she does consider herself technologically savvy. And Cassandra Clifton, you are definitely right. She says technology today is very different than it was 30 years ago. So, yeah. So, anyway, let us say, do you think that your technological competence negatively impacts you when it comes to day-to-day activities like self-checkouts, kiosks at the doctors and the hospitals to check in and everything, interactive voice response systems when you call, you don't get a human, you're dealing strictly with a computer. Does your ability to navigate those things impact you in a negative way? Um, let's see. So does that impact you in a negative way? The ability to navigate the self-checkout machines, the kiosks at the doctor's offices, the IVRs, the interactive voice response systems. Does those things positively or negatively impact you? And do you think it varies from generation to generation or just from person to person? Uh, Shantarsha says, I can work the self checkout, but I don't like them. Me either. Duchess says, I do think the overwhelming use of technology can be a real challenge for us baby boomers. I have to agree with Joyce and Shantarsha. I have to agree with you. I worked at Kmart for 20 years. I hate a self checkout, and mine is simply based on principle because I can work a register. I did that for a living. Well, I did that for a living for 20 years. I did it. But mine is based on the customer service principle. And I think that's the difference between baby boomers, Gen X, and millennials. Millennials think they think it's customer service to have the self checkout. Um, Duchess says, I have taken one of the twins to the doctor and self-check in was a challenge, especially since I left my glasses. Okay. I hate self-checkout. And then they have the audacity to ask for my receipt. Okay. I'm Gen X. I'm between the millennials and the boomers. Me and you are on the same page, Shantarsha. Mine too. Yeah, it is for me, it is just principle. And the kiosk, you know, okay, I am a customer service warrior. If nobody knew, if you know me, and I just think some of these things are just, and I guess this is one of those things that are difference between generations because I think it's just disrespectful to expect me to come in the store and shop and do all these things, can't find any help. And then I get to the front of the store where I could at least have someone to check me out and tell me thank you. And then I have to check myself out. And then, like Darlene said, half the time when you get to the door, they want to see your receipt. And I'm thinking if you had your cashier checking me out, then you wouldn't have to be worried about whether I had rang up everything in my shopping cart. And but the thing that really bothers me is you see people struggling to use these tech, these machinery, these computers, this technology, and you're employed in these different places, and you don't stop to help them. And if sometimes if you ask for help, I've seen customer service representatives and cashiers be downright rude to people who are trying to navigate these machines. And it doesn't matter. And I was thinking about, we're talking about age here, but I was looking at it yesterday I was in the store, and language, people who have language barriers, who have low English proficiency, and they're trying to navigate these machines, and the girl moving so fast and doing so much. And me, customer service warrior, she has rung up stuff, and I said, ma'am, that's not what he wanted. And I'm in the line behind him, and he's communicating with this lady, or trying to, and she's moving so fast, being so not paying attention, and not wanting to help him, and giving him the wrong thing. And I'm like, that's not what he's asking you for. That's not what he wants. Stop, slow down, take a little time, assist. And I think that is a difference in generations. I really think that is one big difference in generation. We came from a generation where people were community, helping, loving one another. Now it's just, like you said, everything instant, everything fast, get it for yourself. I don't have time to be bothered. Let me see what we have in context. Hello, Vinny. Hello, Sarah Jones. How are you guys doing? Chantal said, I never show my receipt. I walk right past and say, have a great day. Hey, Sharonda Anthony, how are you doing? Um, Darlene says she doesn't show hers either. Lou says, I'm the Google queen. Self-checkout, I'm fine with self-checkout, but if I see a manned cash register, I gravitate to it. Uh, uh, Andrew said they're on their phones. But I'm with you, Luz. I always look for a cashier, and unless the long line is extremely long, I'm gonna go to the cashier. And a lot of times when the line is extremely long, guess what? I mosey right on up to the customer service desk and get them to check me out. Because I just think that is just poor customer service. And when you see people who need help and you won't help them, or you feel like, or you make them feel like they are bothering you by asking you to do your job, then that I guess that is just no, I'm not for that. Mm-mm. Do you think that some customer service industries rely too heavily on technology? Shantarsha says she's glad somebody said that they're on their phones. I don't understand that at all. Why is that even allowed? Back in my day when I was working at Kmart, it wasn't allowed. You couldn't be on your phone scrolling or talking or whatever you're doing.
Well, Julia,
Yes.
be that it may, they are not supposed to be on their phone, but it's a generational divide. They don't respect rules and authority. So therefore,
They just
no,
don't expect
no, they don't. They, they
that
don't.
don't
They do not
respect any
because
kind of rules or authority. Hello,
they're
Michael
all.
France. Hello, Lynette.
Could I get my word in,
Yes,
please?
sir. I want to speak to my audience.
Yeah, you can speak when I'm finished, but Rhoda, um, no, they don't because they know that it's against policy to be on their phone, and no matter what, they're going to get on the phone. But see what they consider to be a an emergency is when their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their friends call them, and they are going to answer that phone and have no respect for the person that needs assistance at the kiosk or at the self-checkout. So we've created that because guess what we've done? We've given them those devices so that they can babysit them while we go do other things. And I don't mean leave the house, but we want to calm them down. So we give them those devices to occupy their time, and they are married to those devices. Plus, the different generations and the millennials just don't have a good respect for authority, and they always challenge everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
Okay, so
opinion.
Sharonda says that she gets nervous when they're on the phone. Now they're showing your CC front and back if they ask to help. And Cassandra said that's that addiction to technology that's causing them to disrespect the rules. Um, eh, so that is just, I think, just when Avis said earlier that respect, and Joyce and Andrew was talking about the lack of respect for, I guess, like you said, authority, jobs, rules. It's commonplace, and I have to agree with you, Mr. Jackson, that that does come from the home, because you have to teach your kids. Kids, a lot of children, and I'm not going to say all of them, don't respect their parents.
That's
So if they
correct.
don't respect their parents, then they're not going to respect any other authority figure. So you have to start that in the home, teaching them to respect themselves and to respect others and to respect authority. And you can't just up and leave a job. And when the people on the job are telling you what to do, they can't tell me what to do. If they're your supervisor, if they're your boss, they're doing their job. That's their job to tell you what to do and to make sure that you're following the rules. But I really don't know that so many employers demand that from their employees anymore. I know when I was working in retail, it was always thank you. You always ended every transaction with a thank you. Now you have to tell the people thank you, and then they look at you crazy when you telling them. And you have come to their establishment and you have purchased their merchandise, and then you're leaving and you have to tell them thank you, and then most of them are looking at you like, get out of my line or whatever, or get out of here. I'm not trying to be bothered with you. But that is something, Mr. Jackson, I agree that we have missed at home. Um, so what about the human to human contact? Do you think that the fact that we have so many of these kiosks and self checkouts and ordering things online, do you think that that adds to the depression, the loneliness, because we don't have that human to human contact that we have? I know I have some good friends at Kmart. We come in there and they come and we talk, and every week, or some of them came in there every day, and we would have our conversations. And some of them, I kind of had the impression that I was the only person that they had to talk to all day. So do you think that this technology and the self-checkout and the kiosks, do you think that that leads to some of the depression and some of the feeling of loneliness and isolation that people experience now? Mr. Jackson, what do you think about that?
Well, I, Julia, I have thought long and hard about that. Um, Being myself, I do have what is called MHC, mental health concerns. And it certainly does exacerbate those opportunities of the mental health concerns because no communication. You go into the store, there's no one to assist you, you cry out for help or where something is. You're going to have to go through your device to figure out what aisle something is on because they don't have people walking around the store to help. So when you are having mental health concerns of loneliness and depression, sometimes that's the only outlet that
Mhm.
that person has to be able to socialize. And getting out of the house is a huge opportunity to socialize. And I
Mhm.
know specifically for me, I get out of the house, I try to every day. I work from
Mhm.
home, and having those conditions does not do anything but make it worse when I go into a place and I feel like I'm in a whole world all by
Oh,
myself
by
because
yourself. Mhm.
I have to depend on things myself. And so
Mhm.
there's no social interaction. So yes, all of these technologically advancements, they do cause and only, and I hate to keep using the word exacerbate, but it makes matters worse.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
my point. And, you know, we're getting up to the close of time. I cannot believe what the time has gone. This has been an incredible discussion,
It has been an incredible discussion,
but we
and
certainly want to be aware of others' times, and we don't like to go over the hour because we have a lot of announcements. But what I'll do is allow you to close, and then we'll get to the announcements.
okay, I just wanted to look at the final comments. I don't want to miss anybody comments. Michael France
Yeah,
said yes, he thinks it contributes, and Darlene says she thinks that we need human contact. Contessa said, of course, it contributes. Duchess says it certainly adds to the loss of connection. Michael France, you can shop online and have it delivered to your home with no contact with others at all. And then Darlene said, yes, it is, Jerry. And Shantarsha said, I remember working in a restaurant and there were a group of people who we call regulars. They came in every day for their senior discount and the customer service and for that communications. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you for this in-depth conversation. Thank you so much, Andrew Page, for suggesting this as a topic of conversation. It was obviously one that people had on their minds because we had a lot of wonderful engagement. And I just thank you thank everyone for coming. Mr. Jackson, if you want to go ahead with the announcements and then I'll close us out.
absolutely. So I concur with everything that you have said. This has been a phenomenal conversation. So let's go ahead and get with the announcements. Next week's conversation, Let's Talk, will be mental health awareness with our special guest and my friend, Latanya Walker. I tell you, you are going to be in for a wonderful treat. Not only is she a mental health advocate, but she has been through the storm. And I want you to come out and listen to her as we talk to her and she shares her experiences to make all of us better. And secondly, I want to make sure that you are all aware of our Juneteenth celebration that's going to take place at the historical location of St. Luke AME Church, which is located at 1308 Auburn Street. It's going to be on the grounds of St. Luke from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. We are right now still looking for vendor tables, and those vendors are available for $50. Food truck spaces are available for $100. We're still looking for sponsors from platinum down to bronze, 1,000, 500, 300, 100, and we're still looking for entertainers and entertainment. We're looking for soloists, choirs, steppers, dancers, poets, spoken word, storytellers, and etc. you can always contact our Dean Juju Thomas, Duchess Thomas, Althea Thomas, or myself for more information. So we're really excited about that opportunity. And of course, we do not want you to forget this wonderful um, subscription of this podcast, Divinely Guided. It's on your YouTube channel, and you can catch those new episodes each Monday featuring the dynamic duo of the mother-daughter combination of Duchess Thomas and Adrielle. And I have posted their links so that you may have access to that as well. And please, for our benefit, but most importantly for everybody else's benefit, we need you to do us a huge favor. We need for you to subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse, the YouTube channel. You can keep up with everything going on with By Juju for you. Also, you're going to be able to catch all of the editions of Let's Talk that you may have missed. We want to get more people, so we need you to like and share this video. We can't get the word out just by the same people coming. So come on and help a sister out. Let's make it work. She's doing a fantastic job. So go on out there and click like, click share, and subscribe to the page. It doesn't take anything but a click, and hey, we'll help you. We'll help you do it. And finally, By Juju for You is a proud sponsor of Hold Up the Light, the huddle. So thank you for that. And of course, we're always walking by faith, inspiring hope, and showing love. But make sure, I just have to reiterate to click like and click share and subscribe to the podcast and to the YouTube channels. But most importantly, get the word out. All of you on here are our friends. Spread the word. Get us some sponsors. Help us to get sponsors. But most importantly, help us to get some vendors. We know that there are so many people out here doing good things that need to be blown up. People need to know that there are some great people doing great things and doing innovative things. So we want to showcase them at the Juneteenth celebration. So again, the Juneteenth celebration is June 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. at the historic grounds of St. Luke AME Church in Opelika. That's 1308 Auburn Street. Please contact Juju, Duchess, Jane Althea, or Jerry Jackson, and we'll get you the necessary information that you need. So thank you, Julia. Now back to you.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Once again, thank you, Andrew, for this wonderful show idea. If any of my other viewers have any show ideas that you have in mind, anything that you would like for us to discuss, just let me know. Messenger me, and we'll make it happen. Remember, I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. And until next week, I wish you all much love and many blessings. You guys have a great night.